He sat in a sprawling mansion built for children who would never be born. The rooms were filled with the most expensive furniture, yet there was no one to play in them. The walls breathed a cold, expensive silence. So, he did the unthinkable. He gave his entire chocolate empire to children who had nothing at all. 1909, Hershey, Pennsylvania. Milton Hershey was in his early 50s. He was a self-made man. His chocolate empire was expanding rapidly, turning empty fields into an industrial marvel. An entire city already bore his name. And on the hill, like a crown over this kingdom, stood his High Point estate, with a view of everything he had built. He had everything a man of that time could desire: money, power, recognition, and a beloved woman by his side. Except for one thing. Every night, he and his wife Kitty sat in that enormous house and listened to the silence. It was the heaviest silence in the world. There was no pitter-patter of little feet on the polished floors. There was no children's laughter in the hallways to bring those cold walls to life. There were no heirs to whom the keys of this universe could be passed. Kitty could not have children. In those days, it wasn't just a personal tragedy. It was a death sentence for a dynasty. Wealthy families of that era lived to pass their capital to blood relatives. Adoption was a rarity, something unbecoming for high society. Usually, people simply accepted this void and left their fortunes to distant relatives. But Milton Hershey was not used to living by other people's scripts. He knew the taste of failure better than most. His first confectionery business went completely bankrupt. His second one did the same. By the age of 30, he was a man without a cent in his pocket, labeled a failure. He was mocked. Banks did not trust him. But he possessed something more valuable than money and incredible, almost fanatical stubbornness. It was this very persistence that helped him one day create the perfect formula for milk chocolate. And it was this same grit that now pointed him toward a new path. In 1909, Milton and Kitty took a step that made the local elite question their sanity. They opened a school for orphans. This wasn't just another charity check to clear their conscience. They gave their own land for the school, their own time, their own hearts. Milton didn't want to be just a sponsor. He wanted to be a father. The first students were boys the world had cast aside. Milton knew each of them by sight. He would sit beside them on a simple wooden bench and explain the most important thing. This isn't charity. This is family. Kitty became the mother they never dared to dream of. She raised the children she could not give birth to, giving them the love that had been accumulating in her heart for years. In 1915, Milton's world was shaken. Kitty's heart stopped. She was only 43. Catherine, whom everyone affectionately called Kitty, did not leave in an instant. This wasn't a tragedy of a single second, but long years of a quiet, grueling decline. Doctors diagnosed her with locomotor ataxia. It was an insidious disease of the nervous system that slowly robbed her of the ability to walk confidently, and later to live without constant pain. Milton adored his wife. He took her to the finest medical minds in Europe and America, hoping for a miracle. But even all the millions in the world could not buy back her health. The final years of her life were a battle they fought together. The luxurious High Point estate became not just a home for her, but a quiet harbor. Milton tried to do everything to ease her journey. He renovated the house so she could move around and created an atmosphere of absolute peace around her. She faded gradually, like a candle running out of wax. But until her very last day, her eyes shone with warmth when she saw the first students of their school. When Kitty's heart finally stilled in 1915, a part of Milton died with her. He never remarried. No other woman could ever take the place of his dear Kitty. For the next 30 years, wherever he was at business meetings or walking through the school grounds, a photograph of her always lay in his breast pocket, right against his heart. He carried it with him until his last breath, faithful to the one love that once gave him the strength to build an empire for the sake of others. Everyone expected that now, after Kitty's death, when he was left alone in this world, he would give up, the school would close, and he would retire. But Milton did the opposite. In 1918, he secretly signed documents that shocked the lawyers. He transferred the shares of his chocolate company, his entire multi-million-dollar empire, into a trust for the school. He didn't just give money, he gave away the right of ownership. The richest man in America legally became a mere employee of his own school. From that moment on, every Hershey's chocolate bar sold brought profit not to Milton, but to his children. He gave his estate to the school and moved into a modest apartment because money no longer had any personal meaning to him. It became fuel for the dreams of thousands of orphans. When he was asked why he traded the comfort of his own mansion for a modest apartment, he replied, "What does it matter where I sleep, if my children have a future?" Milton died in 1945, surrounded by photographs of graduates. He never saw the faces of most of the children who study there today. He died decades before they were born, but every one of them is his son or daughter. Today, the Milton Hershey School is a city of dreams. Over 2,100 children receive everything here, from clothing and medicine to an elite education and university preparation, completely free of charge. The trust he founded now manages assets exceeding tens of billions of dollars by various estimates. This capital ranges from 16 to 20 billion. Every Hershey's chocolate bar partially funds this school. Thousands of graduates have become doctors, teachers, engineers, and entrepreneurs. And the most powerful part, Milton never knew most of these children. He died long before their birth. But each of them is proof that love does not depend on biology. On the school grounds stands his statue, not as a tycoon on a pedestal, but as a man kneeling beside a child, eyes at the same level, a hand on a shoulder. A gesture of support, not superiority. Not the wealthy man and the orphan, but a father and a child. Most billionaires are obsessed with passing their bloodline into the future. Milton had no biological children, so he left everything to children who had nothing. He understood a truth that few ever reach. True wealth isn't what you hold in your hands, but what you have invested in the lives of other people. Every time someone opens a Hershey's chocolate bar, it is part of a story where pain turned into hope. The dream of a childless couple became thousands of children's lives. They sat in rooms for children who would never come. So he made sure those rooms were always filled with children who needed it. Chocolate is sweet, but what he did with the profit that is the true flavor. He sat in a house built for children who would never be born. So, he gave his empire to children who had nothing. And over 100 years later, every piece of chocolate helps someone's childhood. It is more than charity. It is more than business. It is a love that refused to die along with those who felt it. It is a legacy that grows sweeter with every passing year.
Thank you for watching our video. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. We wish you a wonderful day.